Welcome back, everyone, to another Bitcoin update. So, since the last 24 hours, we have not really too much has changed, but we have just seen a little bit of another sell-off to about 75,000. Let me get around 75 and a half, in which we sold off to. So, nothing too crazy. Kind of works out very well with the liquidity in which we were talking about. So I wanted to add some of the important shorter time frame support zones and then some levels to look for if we are potentially breaking out higher, and just some different roadmaps in which this could play out. So overall, always remember the B wave top could potentially be in at any moment. What if we get because we technically do have a 5-wave move up, which qualifies for a C wave in a larger ABC. So what if we get some sort of catalyst that just crashes the market? No one's interested in Bitcoin. We get a very weak recovery rally. Then we head lower again and again. So you just obviously always have to keep in mind that that B wave top could potentially be in. I'd say our first indication of that would be a break below this trend line in which we have bounced off of multiple times. We could possibly come back up to retest it. And once we kind of reject from it and go lower, well, then that's always a case scenario as well to look out for. So another important thing in which would be for our shorter term roadmaps is this current correction. So we technically have a 3-wave move down. This could be our 4th wave in the orange scenario, or whether you want to count it as a B wave down, or just an ABC. Or this could turn into a larger flat ABC correction in which we go higher as well. What we want to see first is obviously a micro 5-wave move up, 3-wave move down, and then we want to see a break above our few swing highs. So if we go to the shorter time frame, that would be here at around 77,500, another one at 78,300, and then this one here, of course, at 79,500. So we want to see a 5-wave move up, 3-wave move down, and also get a break of those swing highs in which we formed. And then overall, that could form a higher 5th wave, which could potentially close that CME gap before that being all of our recovery rally. Now, whether this goes sideways for a little bit more, or maybe goes a little bit lower before going higher, well, we'll just kind of have to wait and see how price action will go. However, there is a possibility all of this is just a larger 1-2 setup in which this 4th wave correction, instead of just being a 4th wave correction, it turns into a larger A, B, C correction, which could constitute as a 2nd wave move down, in which we could get an impulsive 3rd wave rally afterwards. Now, obviously, that's not guaranteed, doesn't need to happen. We already have all of our 5-wave moves, but it's just kind of something to think about. Once we are in the support zone, if we do see buying pressure increase, well, then that could very well be our indication. However, because overall this is just a recovery rally, once we kind of break below this trend line, that could be all of the B wave. Just something to kind of look out for. That's what we've been saying for the past couple of weeks. Now that momentum has started to die, and we are seeing divergences form on the RSI as well, well, it's just kind of something to look out for. Now, that doesn't mean we can't go higher. In fact, it would look best if we do get another high to close that CME gap too and liquidate that liquidity above. But obviously, the market does what it wants to do. It doesn't listen to what the traders want to do. So if we do see a larger A, B, maybe we get a weak 3-wave move up and then a rejection into that 2nd wave territory, well, that's something to look out for as well. If we head over to the RSI, we are still below our weekly RSI trend line that we have been getting rejected from since March of 2024. And so far that is playing out very nicely. If we head over to the daily, that bearish divergence in which we pointed out is still playing out very nicely. And like I said before, if we go a little bit lower and we close the CME gap and go higher to 82,000, that would form another bearish divergence on the daily as well. Or even if we go back to retest these highs up here, that would more than likely form another bearish divergence on the daily, which would add more and more weight to at least some sort of top being in. Doesn't mean it has to be the entire top for this rally. Maybe we get a larger cool off, go back to that trend line, and then we bounce off from there. That could reset the RSI a little bit, but it's just kind of something to think about as well. Now we had this bearish divergence forming on the 4-hour RSI. You can kind of see slowly momentum fading and fading. We had this bearish divergence right here, which played out very nicely, but momentum has been fading for this entire rally. And now that we've seen a break of that daily trend line, in which we have been bouncing off of multiple times, we have now seen our first break from it. So something to look out for as well. So RSI on the 1 hour forming a slight bullish divergence, which just means selling pressure is starting to ease a little bit. So if buyers step in, they could potentially start a recovery rally, but obviously not guaranteed. If we head over to the liquidity, firstly, we still have about a little less than double longs compared to shorts. We have this large zone right here that goes to about 72.5 thousand, which aligns very well with our second wave support zone. And we also are starting to build that larger liquidity. So if we head over to the Binance chart, you can see a lot of the high leverage is all the way up here at 79.5 to 80,000. So over the next 24 hours, what we can possibly expect is one, well, we have a Fed meeting coming up. Two, we are now within our micro support area. This is our larger support zone, and then there is obviously a very large support zone that goes to about 60,000. So we'll have to wait and see for price action. Are we going to get a weak bounce and a rejection, or are we going to get a strong 5-wave move up, some break of swing highs, and we'll kind of just have to wait and see how price action will do. So yeah, that's everything for this video. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.